When you know your sign, with every single sign comes a strength list. They're going to call it weakness, but we like to call it opportunities. It's a delineation of self-judgment.
You realize that it's not that you need to change. Their core strengths, opportunities, challenges, whatever it may be, is going to be different from yours. When you can understand yourself, you realize that it's not that you need to change to match another person. These tools can actually reveal like your unique healing style. You're not going to heal like somebody else.
What we're going to talk about today is coaching people to look outside of what we feel about ourselves. And what I mean is when we have acne, we judge. Those two go hand in hand, right? And judgment is a feeling, and we feel like we failed, or we feel like we're not good enough, or we feel like we have to earn our acne to be gone. Like we have to physically do more, be bigger, be badder, right? And through all of this, a lot of people do fantastic things. We're getting more and more clients come in that have already started their health journey and they've already taken that invested role and, they've invested into themselves and all of these things. So outside of that is one of the main things I'd like to do in the Clear Skin through coaching calls, through mindset applications, through words, because I'm pretty big on words, is to look at people's life paths. I like to look at their astrology. What is that zodiac sign hanging in there? Like, who are you, girl? That's what I want to know.
To be honest, we're all about the zodiac signs. Me, you, and Paige are always like sending each other memes and things back and forth of astrology.
Yeah, even with the coaches, I'm like, oh, I get that. That's a Gemini trait, right? Like, so we will do stuff like this. And why I love doing stuff like this, it's not the end all be all. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to check my horoscope and that's it. I'm in a loving relation starting at 4. It's not going to work like that. But when you know your sign, with every single sign comes what? A strength list. And they're going to call it weakness, but we like to call it opportunities. So we call it opportunities. So what I try and transcribe over to people is instead of looking at your personality as this detrimental beast and everybody tells you have to change, and maybe that's you don't have enough boundaries or we're morphing or we're people pleasing or whatever it is to make us kind of shift ourselves because it's just we're simply not good enough in our heads, is why don't we look at the core strengths, look at the opportunities around that word weakness. If we're already strong at something, why do we just keep reapplying? Because it's comfortable. It's no different than when clients come into the program and they're doing the exact same thing and we push them out of the comfort zone. So why I love doing this is because it's a delineation of self-judgment.
So I've been into like my grandmother, I know my numerology, like life path since I was like 5, because my grandma was like hardcore numerology. Like I literally have like a binder of numerology for my grandma. And like my mom and my aunts are really big into tarot and tea leaf reading. So like we've always been really big into astrology, psychic mediums, like over at in my mom's family. So this is something I've kind of like grown up with, lived with. And I think it's so fascinating because when you can really start to understand whether it's your sun sign, like you're being Scorpio, you being Libra, whether it's human design, whether it's Enneagram, whether it's your life path through numerology. I think when you can take this information and like for me, when I read through mine, I'm probably the textbook definition of every single one of these, where I'm like, yes, yes, and yes. I think when you could read through and start to understand yourself, you realize that it's not that you need to change to match another person, because their core strengths, opportunities, challenges, whatever it may be, is going to be different from yours. So I think especially in this day and age on social media, Instagram, where we go on and we're like, oh my gosh, this woman has it all together. She's doing all of this and all of that and does this and this and that. And then you start to feel crappy about yourself because you're like, oh, like I'm burnt out. I can't do that. Like that doesn't work for me. And it really comes down to, well, what are those personality traits and strengths and opportunities that you can be leaning into for you, the individual. And that's why we think it's so powerful on a health journey, is because you'll start to understand yourself at a deeper level and why you do the things you do. And that it's not necessarily that there's something wrong with you. It's just the way you are and how can we work with those opportunities and strengths.
100%. Even ourselves, let's be honest. We have days we're a little more anxious. Something is like irritating or just gnawing at us, and we don't know what it is. And as we have those days, when we know other things like our Enneagram or, our zodiac sign, life path, these things, you could be like, oh, yeah, I am very prone to XYZ. This is why I'm behaving in XYZ. And when we can announce it, again, it doesn't become the holy grail. We're not asking people to say, immerse yourself into this. But when you understand what makes you tick, And we all see the reels. It'll say, "A Libra is," and it'll go through this big thing. And on the weekend, I sent one to a friend, and she's a Gemini, and she has told me in the past, "You are never getting away from me, any of my personalities," right? Because a Gemini has more than one personality. And I'm like, "Oh, yay." Right? And I respond with sarcasm. So where a Gemini is very upbeat and, positive Pam and actually can make me a little bit nauseous, in my
Well,
lifelines.
we know who the Gemini at the KSW company is.
We have 3. We just orbit them. And the thing is, when I know that, and I know she's saying all these oozy goozy stuff that I really could care less about in the sense of like reciprocating in oozy goozy, like mushy stuff, I will respond in sarcasm and to just our little interplay, right? We're not judging each other. I'm not being harsh. These types of things. So it's really cool when, and I sent her one and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that explains you 110%." And I said, "This should actually just be my greeting card now."
It really should. And I think it's so interesting, like you said, Chris, is it's not like we want to be digging into these and being like, this is the way I live and I'm obsessing over this. It's just interesting to be able to understand yourself. So for me, when I got into human design, maybe during COVID, like when human design was like becoming really popular, when I read this, I was like, oh my God, somebody gets me. Oh my gosh. And I started to realize I've been beating myself up. So as a projector, we're meant to have more rest in the day. And like we can't do that hustle and grind 24/7 like some of the other human designs can. And that is so me where I started to feel guilty because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I get burnt out so easily and I need alone time, rest time more than say my husband does or more than you do or more than Paige does. And I used to feel so guilty about that. But when I started to understand that this is just me, it was able to take a lot of that guilt off.
Exactly, right? I'm an Enneagram 5, so I live in my mind. I seek depth. I collect knowledge. I avoid emotional entanglement. I don't like drama. I will listen to your drama, but I don't want drama at my doorstep. And when I see drama, and sometimes we see drama with clients, and a lot of drama, it could be a narrative that is just habitual. It's a pattern that they've created, right? These types of things. I don't want it at my doorstep. That's a boundary. I also don't want them to suffer with it. So now what do? Is I take out the drama. I go in, I collect information, right? I collect the knowledge, I go into my mind, and I output something that they can tangibly do. So you see how we can use it for the good?
And I think it would be really helpful, Chris, if we just did like a quick over, like what is zodiac, say human design, Enneagram, because these are in life paths, because these will be things we're talking about. So most people I think are most familiar with zodiac signs, right? We see it everywhere. It's been in newspapers forever, and it's going to be based on one of the 12 signs and the time that we were born with. So you have your sun sign, and this would be where you're like, I'm a Leo, I'm a Virgo, I'm a whatever. And it's based on the position of the sun at the moment that you were born. That's kind of the surface level. My best friend's an astrologer. She'll go like 100 times deeper, but surface level, that's what we're looking at. Then, when we're looking at human design, so human design is more of like a self awareness energy system that blends astrology, Wan Ching, Kabbalah, the chakra systems, quantum physics, and you can kind of think of it as your like energetic user manual, like the user manual for your body. It shows how you are designed to make decisions, interact with others, and use your energy in the most aligned and easeful way in your day to day. And then an Enneagram is kind of like a personality framework that identifies you over 9 core types. And each one has its own underlying motivations, fears, emotional patterns. And it's less about surface level traits and more about why you do the things that you do. So when we're learning about Enneagrams in like your healing journey, it can actually show you those inner patterns that drives your behavior, like overworking, overgiving, perfectionism, and emotional suppression. And if I go back to human design, and when you're on your healing journey, when you honor your design, your body can actually feel safer, less stressed, and more in flow, which is a really big win for your body as a whole when it comes to healing. So when you can understand these and kind of weave them into your life, they can be really great. And then life paths are going to be based on numerology as well. I love them all. And like, I like when I weave them all together. Like Chris and I were playing around with Chat GPT this morning and we're like, weave these all together. Like, show us what this means. And it was actually really funny.
It is because at the end of the day, isn't it neat that you look at an Enneagram or me as a Libra or my life path and what are the connectors? Because, we could say, yeah, we could make all this up, but you cannot distinctly tell me that all of these combined, if they're showing a massive picture of you, that there's probably not some connectors, some truth, right? Those are those small little things, and even for myself, I fostered this before I even started coaching it, I fostered it for myself. That's me, and once I started learning that I have some traits that are really strong, and again, I was living in the comfort of those, but then what you do is you burn out. Why do we have opportunity traits? So that we can start to evolve as a whole. So I always say to clients, why don't we look at the opportunities and start to foster those because you're already really good over here. If a teacher is teaching math and they're really strong at math, and then we say, okay, you know what, we're going to give you science now. It's not because we're like, hey, we're going to, chastise you and go over here. It's an opportunity to, again, foster and develop yourself. And that's really big because no matter what in anyone's health journey, I will tell you, your core root is you think you need to earn success. You need to earn health. You need to earn a love, respect, confidence. It has to be earned because we haven't been able to connect worldly to say, it's not about that. It's why don't we go in? What makes me tick? What do I need to know? And I had people all the time, you've heard me say this before, all the time say, how smart you are and you don't think like other people. What do you want from me? See what I mean? So that's a past trauma somewhere hanging out there. Because you gave me a compliment, I turned it around and I said, okay, well, every time somebody gives me a compliment, they want something. So obviously there's an exchange in my past at that point. And it wasn't again what till like earlier last year where I was like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm smart. I just figured it out, right? And then if you look at the Enneagram, the Libra and the life path, that's what it says. It's intellectually inclined. How many times have you heard me say things like, do not ask me the weather? You meet me, please don't ask me the weather because I will say, look up. Why? Because not only do I seek depth and collect knowledge, which I would expect other people to be like, oh, look at it outside, is one of my understandings is I thrive on thoughtful dialogue. I truly will give you 110% every single time. Don't ask me the weather.
Don't ask her. Don't
Like
do it.
it's bad. One of the things, Katie, though, when you see Libra, it always says aesthetics. It's always like Libras love glam. I think these are September Libras because this ain't me. I think this shirt was probably from 1984.
But your house is really nice. Like, you like your house looking a certain way.
I do. I like clean, symmetry, soft, minimalist. It truly is. It actually, think about that, minimalist, and I seek depth is me having an extra tool or a toy. I don't need it out for everybody else to see it. The fact is I know I have it. However, I'm very big on justice. A lot of people will mistake that as control, and it's not control. It's the essence of boundaries, and I am not willing to forgo my boundaries, which can look at as control, in order to give somebody else peace of mind. And I can attest to my personality traits. So even my personality traits, when I start to look at this, I'm like, okay, so if I need thoughtful dialogue, then I'm going to give that thoughtful dialogue back to a client because it's a two-way street, right? I'm not going to just always give surface level answers to questions. Sometimes it is yes, no, whatever. But I also need to understand the motivation behind it or the connection behind it for the client. And this is part of my personality. And I'm a find outologist. If I think you're not being true to me, I'm going to find out. It is my life mission. I was going to say, and similar to you, even say being Scorpio, is Scorpio have this really bad rap.
We do have a bad rap. So many fellow Scorpios out there, we get so much hate, don't we?
Well, you do eat your mate when you're done mating. This is a thing. Scorpio is your boundaries. They're very intense. And the thing is look at our dynamic. I don't like drama, don't like it. You might have a dramatic day and I'll be like, okay, what do you need me to do for you? Like, I'm not even entertaining the drama. I'm just like, where can I be for you? Or if it's too much for me, I just do what?
So you don't speak. And I'm like, Chris. And you're like, what? I was like, what's your opinion here?
Yeah, I get called into opinions a lot,
I
right?
always ask her opinion when she's quiet. I'm like, what are you holding back on me?
And I usually say, do you mean my thoughts? But you see, even my choice of words with my intellect, because I pride on that.
You do. You're really, really big on your words. And what I think is like, and we weave this into our coaching, is what Chris is saying. And what's really interesting, right, is when we are looking at that fourth pillar here, emotional well being, this type of chat we're having now is under that umbrella because these types of tools can really help you uncover the emotional, energetic root causes of acne, right? Those things that are underlying, like your stress, your burnout, your perfectionism, things that you're suppressing. So that way you can start working with your body instead of against it. So this would be under that pillar number 4. And even when you're understanding your zodiac sign or your human design, your Enneagram, your new like numerology, whatever that may be, these types can actually reveal like your unique healing style. Because again, you're not going to heal like somebody else.
Yes, I love that, that healing style. I like how you worded that.
And it's like, what are the things that actually work for your nervous system, your lifestyle, and your personality? Because me being a Scorpio projector Enneagram 3 is going to be much different than Chris's Libra Enneagram 5. She doesn't know her human design because she doesn't know her birthday. Any human design experts out there, slide in her DMs and help her out here.
I have yet. Everyone tells me it cannot be done.
Any human design people, go show up in her DMs, help her out, help a girl out. We need to know her human design. But it's interesting, right? Because how my nervous system and lifestyle would work are going to be different from Chris's. Even though we have a lot of similarities and likes and hobbies, the way our bodies work are going to be different, right? So some people really thrive with structure and others need more flexibility. Some need more rest where others need more grounding. And these tools can really help you know which ones are right for you.
I love that because, as an example, I like distance before decision. I like to think about it, right? If it's a hot topic, like Katie and I were talking, so sometimes we're in meetings and Katie brings up this big initiative and whatever, and I'm processing it. I can see how committed to it. She's already made the decision, but she likes to bring it into a question as if she like yeah, it's not happening.
Because Chris, that is my human design projector energy. As projectors, that is me. I'm a visionary. You know, I bring the ideas. I don't bring the how to. I bring the ideas.
I have no idea how somebody can just be in gear 5 their entire day. However, you do it. So I like distance before decision, and I practice that even with clients and stuff. If I get a very anxious like message, I will breathe through it. I'll be like, what is the message here? What is the underlying connector that they need? I don't get involved in that. And even when clients come in and coaches are first starting to coach, that's one of the first things I say with the coaches. No, we're not going to get involved in everything. We don't have to answer everything. We need to get to what we need to. On the other hand, my distance before decision is you are more play, fast, 5. There's no speed level. We don't naturally gear up our car from 1st to 2nd to 3rd. Katie's in 5th, and we're, like, running behind, and we're like, "How do we catch up?"
Well, fun fact, Chris, as a projector, one of my core traits is being prone to burnout when overdoing it. It's really interesting when I read mine. I'm like, yep, this is me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and that's why I mean, we don't have other people here, so we're gonna attest to ours, just, but the thing is because I like to in a situation where I see somebody is wholly committed to something, one thing that people probably don't know about Scorpios definitely rely on the feedback and trust it. And Libras too, they trust. So I think when we come into meetings, we base on that trust. We know that this isn't a competition, this isn't a game. What's the real objective? What do we want out of this? And how do we want to move forward? But before we even say how we're going to move forward, Katie's already on to phase 4, but just to let everybody know.
You want to know what's super interesting? So I'm going to give you one trait of each one of mine just to really showcase why I am like this way. A Scorpio trait is that we're passionate and magnetic. A projector trait is that I'm prone to burnout when overdoing it. As an Enneagram 3, I'm driven, ambitious, and goal oriented, and I struggle with slowing down. And my life path 7 is I am drawn to uncovering deeper meanings and I'm a truth seeker. So like you can see how all of these kind of weave in together to create that like intensity that I have.
Now go to the truth seeking. So just everybody listening, this is kind of what I do like when I'm coaching too, right? Like I'll pull things out. So go to the truth seeking for a second, especially Katie, when you feel challenged after you've invested your time and energy into something because you are a projector right now, already see where I'm going with this, is how do you feel? Automatically attacked. And you will be one big thing for Scorpios is loyalty.
If you're my friend, I'm the most loyal and protective person you will meet.
Yeah. But if you feel that that line is crossed where you feel challenged, the loyalty is the first word that comes up for a Scorpio and goes, oh, well, is it time to eat them? So, emotional or practical, Scorpios, you can see that all in a conversation multiple times. Where a Libra's going to sit back and be like, how much do I want to invest in this sucker? Where am I here? And we've had conversations before where you're like, just tell me. And I said, there is no promising end to my truth. And I have, and she's like, "No, tell me," right? Because I'd be in that inner circle, so she values what I say, and then I would say things like, "Okay, I'm going to tell you, and then I know you're gonna think on it, then you're gonna get mad."
I can only maybe count on, like, one hand how often I've been upset with you, and it was, like, for 5 seconds.
But do you see what I'm saying is now that I know the way Katie is, what she wants to work on, those strengths, those weaknesses, whatever we wanna call it. So when I am going to give her feedback because it's valuable to her, it actually would pain her more for me not to say anything where I'm like, "I don't wanna do this," right? I'm gonna come in and say, "I'm saying this with love and compassion. I'm just gonna let you know. I'm not attacking you. However, I don't wanna say anything because your personality is a little bit aggressive sometimes and very Scorpio-ish. However, because here's me, in all fairness, Libras will give 110%. Even though they like, there's harmony, there's beautiful, there's vision to life, that we've got a lot of that, and we tend to step back from the messy reality sometimes. We live in the mental realm because we're protected. So, I don't like to always engage in this kind of stuff because I'm like, "How much extra do I have to deal with after I do that?"
You mean the 600 messages I would send you at 9 p.m. on a Sunday?
Mhm.
The voice notes?
So either I want to connect, I want to heal, I want to evaluate, or I want to detach, conserve, and self protect. And you will see that, like, even in meetings, you'll see me go through those.
It's interesting because me, you, and Paige spend a lot of time together in meetings and just a lot of time in general together. So, and because we're all into this, we really pick up on each other's. Like, we've really figured out a way of working with each other. And this is what you can be doing in your own life as well, right? Whether it's your family unit, it's your close friends, it's you're on your healing journey. This really allows you to take away the guesswork and provide more self trust. Like, when you understand your body in these ways, it offers you a roadmap for things like how you process your emotions, how you relate to control, stress, and boundaries, why you might self sabotage routines and self sabotage your healing, and how to stop it. Right. Because when you know these, whether your Enneagram or your zodiac sign, these tendencies can help explain why you push yourself and help to soften that.
Yeah, or why you don't wanna approach your mother-in-law, or what connection to that you feel, because clients will be like, "I don't wanna ask to bring anything," or, "I don't wanna have to ask to them to bring something different for me," like these, and we all call it people pleasing, or we say, "Okay, why don't you look at your mother-in-law's life path, or why don't you look at the zodiac sign?" And then from there, you can start to see the things that make her tick, because 'cause that'll be under the weakness. You can see the things she excels at. What if she's a protector? The protector doesn't mean control. It means that she protects. She wants to feed everybody. Why? She wants to feed everyone because she's protecting, she's caring, she's loving. She might be a slightly little bit irritating too,
Not my mother in law. She's the nicest woman on the face of the earth.
right? So, but we have to look at the no BS version. And this just allows us to go, okay, it's like going through a laundry basket when you're looking for that one sock to pair and you're just whipping stuff out of the laundry basket. Right. So instead of going and going like, no, that I don't feel like that. And I don't know what I'm feeling today. And I don't want to wear that. And you look at the laundry basket and you say, okay, listen, those are all dirty. Why don't I just go in to my closet and get new socks? Right. Takes out the static, takes out the congestion.
And I think they also help you do deeper work, like that deeper inner work. So these types of tools can really naturally guide you on shadow work, on journaling, on nervous system healing, on emotional hygiene, which are all things that help with the foundation. Because again, what works for my emotional hygiene and my nervous system is going to be different from Chris's. So when you can understand that, you can do that inner work, but it's also going to empower you to be your own healer, right? When you can understand the blueprint, you're no longer dependent on the external validation, on finding that perfect routine or somebody else's magic protocol. Like, I see this on social all the time where they're like, oh my gosh, but this influencer has this 90-minute wellness routine every day, and that's what I have to do. No, it's not, because you're not that person. So when you're empowered to tune into your own body's wisdom, that can really start to shift things for people.
100%. You know what? Like you said, it's an integration, right? So, how much can we tolerate the emotional exposure? What can we do to simplify decisions? I have this conversation with clients all the time. You're doing it all, but how can we simplify these decisions? We have to make so many decisions throughout the day. We don't need more decisions about our own health. How we can trust our own intuitive factors, our own intellect, our knowledge, our sensitivities, our creative powers. How do we get out of our own way? So when we start to look at the symmetries, hex yes. Like I said, I was watching a reel and it said, Libras will love hard until, and they will be your worst enemy. And they say everybody would love a Libra as a friend because we can be very infectious, but you will know the Libra's boundaries and you will know when you've crossed them. They will let you know.
That's my younger son, Frankie. He's a Libra like you.
So for Frank, as an example, is somebody takes his toy, he wasn't playing with it, but it's his.
Oh, yeah.
He will very much allow you the pleasure to know his discontentment, or he will go and remove himself from the situation. You know what I mean? It depends on where he is in that day. These are those small little things. Is I do this with my kids. I go and look up their zodiac signs, their life past these things, because sometimes when I'm like, you are so stubborn, I can't handle it. Like, why? I go and look up the life path and I'm like, oh, yeah. You know what it does? It takes out that inner voice in my head going, "You're lazy. You don't like to help yourself." The shaming, the everything, but me projecting onto her and accidentally maybe even coming out and saying it. Well, if you would start listening to your mother, then this wouldn't happen. And I catch myself and I go, oh my gosh. To the point, everybody, want to know a little Chris fun fact? I mean, if you want to go look me up, I am the day of the tough cookie. Does that say anything? But that's the thing. I think that day of the tough cookie is just legit is my boundaries are my boundaries. It's not that I want to control it. And that's not what it is, whatever. So I like to look at the life paths a lot because when you start to see characteristics and you start to see personality traits, you know what? You can reflect and you can say, okay, so what I've done in the past is I've had to say something to my eldest daughter. And I don't know what it is about Libra and Aries. Oh my gosh, because I have to go and I go, breathe through the nose. And I wanted to write her a message. And I said, I went to ChatGPT because I just couldn't, like, I had it refined. So I have said, I want you to take this and refine it, written from a Libra to an Aries.
Oh, smart use.
Oh my gosh, this is the first time I do this in anything where I'm irritated too. If I'm super irritated, I think I've actually trained Chatty on some profanity that maybe Chatty didn't even know, right? Because I literally unleash exactly what I want to say. And I say, I want you to convert this, clean this up, make it professional. So do you see what I'm saying? And then Chatty in his all complacent goes, yes, Chris, you're absolutely right. That could be very you know what I mean? But again, for me to be able to correct I have done some inner work on how to refine this, to pick out those nuances. I want something calm and fair. I want to bridge my logic with empathy. I also have to bridge logic with empathy because I overthink. And a lot of people with it, you don't even have to be a Libra, but tell me how many acne sufferers overthink.
Oh, it's huge, right? And when you start to really understand this about yourself, instead of thinking, oh my God, what is wrong with me? You can start asking, what is my body trying to tell me? Because this framework shifts your focus from the shame to self awareness and compassion. So, by understanding these components of you, whether it's your star sign, human design, Enneagram, numerology, and any other ones, it can really help shift to self awareness and compassion. And I think if people are wondering, they're like, Katie, what are all these things? And Chris, where can we get all of this done? I think most people probably know what their zodiac sign is, but if you didn't, it's just your birth date. So you can figure that out really easily. If you're looking into human design, which I think is so fascinating, you can find this out for free on My Body Graph or Genetic Matrix. Or there is a human design app. So literally just go to Google, type in human design, or go to the App Store, search for it. You'll need to know your birth date, birth time, birth location. For your Enneagram, this you could be doing through Surety Enneagram tests, which is free. You can do a paid one through the Enneagram Institute. Again, go to Google, go to an app. You could even use ChatGPT to help you figure this out for anyone that does AI. And then if you're looking at numerology, so your life path number, it's really simple. You just add up each part of your birth date together and then reduce it down to a single digit unless you land on 11, 22, or 33 because those are master numbers. So for me, my birthday is October 24th, 1989. When I make those into numbers, it ends up being 7 and it's all been added together. So again, you can go to numerology.com, use an app, and these can all help you figure it out.
Like, look at it as fun. Investigative. We don't have to be so, like, in our heads, right? We don't have to be so perfect. This is part of that these little small steps. It's let's start to understand what makes us tick. Let's understand what makes us thrive, what we're really good at, because, again, when we have a lower self-confidence, like many acne sufferers, what happens? is we forget that we are worth it. We have value, we have wins because we let the acne just engulf us.
All right. This was a fun episode. So again, I'm curious if you go and do any of these little things, like show up in my DMs. Like, did you get any takeaways? Did you find out what your human design is? I literally love talking about this stuff. So we'll see you next week.